Hi and welcome to a very special video. Summer is sadly almost over, or depending where you live, summer is just about to start. So wherever you live, TMS has you covered with a summer do-it-yourself project. An exciting project to create your own web playground using FNC components. Just to clarify, the term web playground means that you built yourself a tiny little project, which is cross-platform, by the way, because it's FNC. That means you can use it in the VCL, in FireMonkey, and in TMS Web Core. And of course, FireMonkey allows you to deploy to Windows, macOS, Linux, and of course to the mobile platforms, iPhone, Apple iPhone, iOS, iPadOS, and Android. So this means you have a cross-platform testing application for your web projects. Whereas on the top, you can specify the HTML, in the middle, you can specify cascading style sheet, and you can even specify JavaScript. And on the right, you see a preview of the project that you have developed. This might seem like a lot of work, but the crazy thing is this on the right here is a component from the WX component package, which is also based on FNC. And on the left, we have three simple memo controls, also part of FNC. Let's look at that in detail. Here on the right, we have the TMS FNC WX container. So this is not just a browser control, like an Edge browser, for example. No, this is a container where you can stack elements, and each of these elements has HTML, style, and JavaScript to show inside of this surface. And the cool thing is, you might not even realize this right now, this is the design time view inside of Delphi. So up here we have three different memo controls. And as you can see, it's an FNC memo, and FNC memos have a special property called language. If I find it, let me go to language right here. And there you can configure what kind of language you want to not only display or edit, but you also get full-blown syntax highlighting as well as code completion depending on the language. I'll show that when we run the application. So right here, if we expand this, these are all the languages that you could display and edit inside of your memo control. So you simply stack three of these memo controls on top of each other, and whenever there's a change in either of these, you update this container. Let's run this application first so you see what is going on. Here's the HTML, the style sheet, and the JavaScript, and this is a full-blown HTML project with menus and lots of layouts. So this is a modern web application, and the cool thing is if you edit this, for example here, if we go into the burger menu and type, you see we get code completion. So if you say span, or for example, let's say I want to add an image and I press space and source, see, you get all the code completion according to the language that we use. The same if we go into the style sheet. Let's say I want to redefine the H1. So we get the H1, and as soon as I press enter and I say F, I get all the different font completions, for example, font family, and so on. So code completion is designed according to the language that you added. And this is all included by just dropping the control on the form and setting its language. It comes with this functionality, as you'll see as we look at the source code. Same for JavaScript. Here we have JavaScript that displays everything on the right. The animations are JavaScript, of course. So here, let's say I want to do a for loop, for, I get 4. Or if I have special data types, for example, form data, here, this is all included in code completion. As well as code completions, you also get a mini map right here, so you can scroll through your things, your source code quickly. And of course, we have save file and open file for these things. Also, to keep it a little bit more interesting, TMS has up here different templates that are included in the application. They're bundled as resources. So Fox in the Wind is a JavaScript example for a graphics animation. See, there's hardly any HTML. There's hardly any CSS. It's all here in the JavaScript source code. And of course, we have changing face rating, like here. How do you like this video? Well, I think you're just as excited as I am about this, because I think the functionality for us to be able to include this kind of functionality inside of a Delphi application and to offer our customers this kind of edit experience for plugins that we include in our applications is just amazing, because we don't have to bother about implementing HTML syntax, CSS syntax, or JavaScript syntax. And you've seen there's many other languages included in that. And the same going here. We have one more, a marquee logo wall with company brands, and we can toggle and rotate. So all of this is included in the example. And if you now have a look, this is the do-it-yourself project. You analyze this and then you make it your own. You try to amend it or even to integrate it into your own solution. If we look at the source code, you will be amazed, because like stuff like save file is literally just HTML memo lines saved to file. Same for the CSS memo, same for the JavaScript memo. So exactly what we have learned with Delphi for years and years and years. And remember, this does not only run on Windows, this can be deployed to macOS too, because this is a cross-platform application available for VCL and for FireMonkey. So how does this display work? Because I think that's the most interesting for you to look at. How can you create these exciting experiences to view things? So the key component here is the element containers property, because that determines which elements are inside of this container. And each of these have the HTML, which is a string list of HTML tags, and a script and style. And you might have figured, like, we only need one element container, and this element container needs to display what is defined in our HTML, CSS, and JavaScript here on the left. And that is exactly what's happening if you look at the source code. For example, if we load one of the templates, we click on the toolbar item picker, a great component from TMS as well. We go to on item selected, which is the event that is triggered after an item has been selected. We go to switch resource, which is what happens when we switch the resource that is selected. And we can see that the least resources are being loaded. And then, and this is the key thing to remember here, that we just have to assign to the element container the HTML, the script, which is JavaScript, and the style. That's it. And then we reinitialize the whole component and everything is updated. This is how easy you can display modern web content in your own applications, but the key is that it is dynamic, because you can influence the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and runtime to create your web experience inside of your VCL FireMonkey applications. That means you can generate in your Windows desktop applications dynamic web content. Hope you see how much this opens the potential for more flexibility in your Delphi applications. And best of all, at the end, I want to give you a prize for staying until the end, listening for the whole duration. If you scroll down, there's a coupon right there, Summer 23. That is a coupon that gives you a 20% discount on TMS FNC Component Studio. Yes, you heard correct. TMS FNC Component Studio contains all the components that are being used inside of that demo. And have a look at this blog post right here. The URL is in the video, and I'm quite sure TMS is going to put it in the comments as well. It sums up nicely the basic functionality of the example shown. And if I triggered your interest, you can download it right here. You can download the source code, or you can also get a compiled executable for Windows. more about TMS FNC Memo because this has been such a great component, I did a couple of videos about FNC Memo, and I also did a video about FNC WX Container. So as summer has been tough all over the world, stay cool, stay hydrated. The good thing about it being too hot is that you don't feel bad about staying inside, tinkering a little bit with this exciting do-it-yourself project from TMS. See you soon and take care.